Hi guys, this is the first series on this channel, and what this series is aimed to do is designed to help you sort of configure Windows Server 2003 standard for an Active Directory domain. There will be in Series 2 a version for 2008 server. Okay, so on 2003, this is the first episode, so this episode will aim at installing Server 2003. So, if we go, as we're in the BIOS here, if we go into the boot tab, we need to boot off the DVD. So, here we go. So, move the CD-ROM down to the top, and exit Saving Changes. The computer will then boot off the CD. Click F6 if you need to install a RAID drive or SCSI driver. In this case we don't, because it's only a very basic install. Let's let that boot off the DVD. Okay, so we need to press enter to start up Windows now, and F8 to agree with the terms and conditions. Then we need to go to into the unpartitioned space and click enter. So that will create a partition on that drive. If you do have a hard drive with an old installation and you want to erase that disk, you'll have to press D here for delete. Okay, so that's going to press enter. Okay, so you can either format the partition or you can format it quickly. For the sake of this, we're going to use quick, but I'd highly recommend using the slower one, than not the one that says it's not quick, So let's go for this one and let it install. It will take a little while. So let that start copying files, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the system's coming up to the end of copying files. And it should reboot any second now. There we go, so your computer will reboot in 10 seconds. So you need to click enter to reboot the machine so it can boot and continue installing Windows. So we don't want to boot off the CD because that will start the installation again, and we don't want that. And this is the second part of the installation, which will take about half an hour. It may be quicker or it may be slower, depending on the specification of the machine itself. So I'll just pause the video and see you in a minute. Okay, so here we are at the Windows setup language screen. So I'm not in the United States of America land, so we need to change this to United Kingdom. For me, it may be different for you depending on where you are. Okay, so you should notice that the language settings change here. So we need to click next. We need to type in the name of the company and organisation, so for this sake we're going to to use server 1 and Ben's Tech Tips. So next, here you need to enter your product key, although I'm not going to enter it here. Now, at the licensing setup part of the installation, you can choose how you want the licensing to work. So you can either have it per server, so the number of concurrent connections if you want, or you can set it up so you can have it per device per user. For this installation, I'm going to use per device per user. So computer name, when you change that, so Ben's Tech Tips server in this case. Obviously you can change that, and you'll find out that you'll need to enter a, well, you don't need to, it's highly recommended that you enter a password at this screen, so I'm going to enter one. Obviously a strong password would be better. We change the time zone as well, so I'm in this list here, and we have to let it configure the network connections. Okay, so we need to choose typical settings here. You can use custom settings if you want to change the installation. We will be in episode, I think it's 3 or 4, we will be setting up an Active Directory domain. So for now we'll leave it as workgroup, so it is on its separate part of the network. You can optionally connect it to an existing domain if you so want to, although I'd recommend you do that once you've installed the drivers for Windows. Okay, so this step will take a little while, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the machine just rebooted. Give it a sec. There we go, it's booting up. We do not want to boot off the CD again, because otherwise the installation will start again, as I say. We don't want that. Okay, so it should boot up now. Here we are in the installation. It will take a few minutes. There we go. Okay, so we want to be pressing Control and Delete, and to log on to Windows you'll have to type the password in that you set up, if I can type it properly. There we go, so it's now logging on. Okay, so since we're installing the release 2 version of server, we'll need to specify where that those files are. So what I need to do is I need to just, because I'm using a virtual machine here, and I'll need to just change the disk. Okay, so now I've just put the CD in, not virtually, obviously. Click OK, it should start with the R2 attempt. The R2 part of the installation does only take a few minutes, if that. So we'll just give this a sec. I'll just pause the video because I don't want to have to do a part 2 of this video, so hang on. Okay, so we're back about a quarter of a second after I just paused that. So, I want to click finish. Okay, so click finish to this as well. Now what we will need to do is we'll need to install the drivers for the operating system. Now if you're installing this on a physical machine, you'll need to install the drivers for the motherboard, the graphics card, etc. So this is a virtual machine, as I say, so we're going to install the VMware tools. We can make it start, there we go. Let's give it a sec. Okay, so I'll just pause the video while I'm installing this. Okay, so I've now installed the drivers for this machine, so that basically concludes the this video. As you can see, this is how the machine is set up. So yeah, I'll see you in episode 2, where we will, hopefully, be configuring the file services within Server 2003.